For most of my life, people have described me the same way: strong, capable, reliable. I learned early that strength was useful. It kept things together when my mother got sick. It helped me finish college while working nights. It made me the person others leaned on when things became complicated. Strength wasn't something I chose. It became who I was before I ever questioned it. By the time I turned 48, I was very good at holding things together. I work as a project manager for a mid-size company. Nothing glamorous. Stable. Predictable. My calendar is always full. Meetings pressed against deadlines. Problems landing on my desk because people trust I'll solve them. At home, my children are mostly grown now. They don't need me the way they once did, but they still need me just in quieter, more emotional ways. My marriage isn't unhappy. It's steady. It's efficient. If you asked me how I was doing, I would smile and say, busy, but good. For a long time, I believed that was the truth. The first crack appeared quietly. It happened during a meeting that should have been routine. A client pushed back on a timeline, nothing new. I opened my mouth to respond, already forming the calm, capable reassurance I'd given countless times before. And suddenly, I felt tired, not distracted, not overwhelmed, just deeply, unexpectedly tired. My chest tightened not with panic, but with resistance. As if something inside me was asking, do we really have to do this again? I finished the meeting, smiled, took notes. No one noticed anything unusual, but the feeling followed me home. That evening, I stood in the kitchen holding my phone, scrolling through emails I didn't answer. Dinner was on the stove, and the house hummed with familiar sounds. And for the first time in years, I thought, I don't want to push through this. The thought startled me. I had built my life on pushing through grief, through stress, through exhaustion. Pushing through was what strong women did. At least, that's what I had always believed. Strength, as I learned it, meant endurance. It meant staying quiet when things hurt, showing up no matter how tired I was, carrying more than my share without complaint. People praised me for it. They said things like, "You're amazing. I don't know how you do it. You're so strong." I absorbed those words like proof that I was doing life correctly. So when the tiredness didn't fade, I told myself it was temporary. I just needed a weekend, a vacation, a better routine. I didn't consider the possibility that my definition of strength might be wrong. The breaking point didn't come with drama. It came on a Wednesday afternoon. I was sitting at my desk, staring at a spreadsheet I'd updated dozens of times before. My hands hovered over the keyboard, and they wouldn't move. Not because I didn't know what to do, but because I couldn't bring myself to do it. I didn't cry. I didn't panic. There was just a heavy stillness. For a moment, I wondered if this was burnout. Then I dismissed the thought. Burnout was for people who couldn't cope. I had always coped. That night, I told my husband I was tired. Not the polite kind of tired, the honest kind. He listened, nodded, offered solutions, a gym membership, a short trip, less caffeine. And in that moment, as he was trying to help, I realized something surprising. I didn't need solutions. What I really needed was permission. That permission didn't come from anyone else. It came slowly, quietly. I started with one small change. I stopped volunteering for extra work. Not dramatically. Not with an explanation. I just didn't raise my hand. The first time I said no, my stomach tightened. I waited for consequences that never came. The world didn't fall apart. Someone else handled it. Then I canceled plans one weekend. Not because I was sick, but because I was tired and chose to honor it. I spent that Saturday doing very little. No productivity, no achievement, just rest. At first, the stillness felt uncomfortable, like I was doing something wrong. Then it felt unfamiliar. Then, slowly, it felt relieving. I began to notice how often I had overridden myself in the name of strength. How often I had ignored early signals, fatigue, resentment, emptiness, because I believed strong women didn't stop. Somewhere along the way, endurance had replaced care. Strength had become something I performed, not something that sustained me. Redefining strength didn't happen overnight. I still catch myself pushing when I don't need to, still apologizing for resting. But gradually, my idea of strength has shifted. Strength looks less like endurance now, and more like honesty, less like sacrifice, and more like boundaries, less like pushing through, and more like knowing when to stop. Letting go, I've learned, isn't failure. It's wisdom. One afternoon, months later, I sat on my porch with a cup of tea. Nothing urgent waited for me. No crisis demanded my attention. I felt present, not euphoric, not transformed, just steady. And in that quiet moment, I understood something that would have once scared me. I don't need to prove my strength anymore. I've lived it long enough. Strong women don't only know how to endure. They know when endurance becomes self-erasure. They know when holding on costs more than letting go. They understand that rest is not a reward, it's a requirement. And real strength, the kind that lasts, is choosing a life that doesn't require constant survival. It's about building a life where you can thrive. Thank you for listening.